phone, then we have to say, you know, once we unmute their phone, there'll be a chance of this feedback problem.
Yes. Just like there was.
Yeah.
Let's see what that looks like.
They call, we call, they call.
So it's a different stream, or is it the same stream, Max?
I started the stream. Let's see what the link looks like. Compared to the previous, it did update it.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to have the audio 3 times.
But there's such a lag.
Yeah.
Yeah, any streaming platform is going to have at minimum, I think, a 20-second lag.
So the one nice thing about streaming, though, is the quality is going to be better. The quality of the video is going to be better. And that's what you gain when you gain the lag, because it buffers on both sides. So I'm going to unmute myself on the phone.
Test, test, test. I'm testing, testing, test. So the stream is not changing to me when we do follow the speaker. Would someone else turn their video on?
Oh, okay. If I speak, will the video come on?
You need to turn on your camera. Okay, Max. All right, Max, can you talk?
Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You are in gallery view. You need to go to follow the speaker.
Mic check, 1, 2.
Testing, test. Okay, that works. So that's what we would want. We would want their name to appear. So did you go back to gallery view?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I think I'm hearing the old audio.
So,
and I was just going to share quickly what that security tab looks like. You can see if I click it, I can on the fly prevent any participant from doing any of these 4 actions. So I'd probably uncheck unmute so I can manage how those public speakers can come in, get the mic, and go out. Just wanted to share what that security tab I was referring to earlier looks like.
Oh, okay. Screenshot image editor. Cool. Oh, Dean, you're on mute.
I see. So the sequence would be, well, you know, we could bring in one phone public speaking participant, right? We can bring them in from the waiting room 1 at a time. And that means we wouldn't have to mute everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, Max? We wouldn't have to bring them all in.
No, not at all. I
one
would
at a
just
time.
bring in one at a time, and then I would manually unmute them and let them know that they're now able to speak.
Right.
Put the timer on, and then mute them, and then put them back in the waiting room.
Right.
I guess ask them to turn off their other streaming of
Right.
the meeting,
Through
maybe.
Yeah, we'd have to give them some instructions on what to do, and we would tell them if they don't follow the instructions, if we're starting to get feedback, we just push them back to the waiting room.
Okay. So do y'all feel comfortable with this time lag? Everything seems a little bit, what's the word?
Right. So here's the trade-off on that. You'll get higher quality video because that's what the time lag is giving us. We're buffering, on both sides so that we're making sure that the video is of higher quality. Whereas with Zoom, we're sacrificing quality to have to keep everyone synchronized. So that's what the buffer is giving us, is the ability to have higher quality video. Now, that might actually solve the problem. That might give us some additional flexibility. I know that President Stokes wanted to stream a video. Just thinking about how we could orchestrate that. We really couldn't do it. I mean, the decision when we worked with Cinnamon was that if we couldn't stream it well, meaning that the end users weren't getting a quality version of that video, then it was better to not do it. And when we're streaming, we have no control. I mean, if we're doing it through Zoom, Zoom is trying to keep everyone synchronized as opposed to make people have a quality video experience. So maybe it might give us some additional options. We'd have to play with that a little bit. We could stream the video not through Zoom or something. Or maybe the buffering would improve the quality, and we could have some confidence that people were getting a quality version of the video. We could look into that at least.
Okay.
So
are you still leaning toward this being the better, to regular Zoom, streaming the meeting?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, there's no best way to do this, and neither is perfect for what we need to do. So in some ways, it's going to end up being a judgment call.
Yeah. Is the biggest drawback with the webinar the fact that the participants have to find their special link to join? Is that the biggest?
Well, and that we have
drawback?
To create that special link, and that we have to communicate with them about that.
Yeah.
And
that whole thing.
That was a bit of a hassle. And I think that's a big stumbling block for HSC when they're trying to host webinars, because their plan was, we'll just have people show up and we'll promote them to panelists, which is a bad idea on many levels.
Yeah, that was not well thought out. It sounded okay from just, a very crude idea, but it in practice, it just, yeah.
Well, you can see our approach is to obviously be very thoughtful and to try, and then try it multiple times and document it and, rehearse, that's our approach. Now, that's not everybody else's. I mean, we've, I guess, been supporting events in one form or another for so long that we just, it's not necessarily in their wheelhouse, I guess. So I am not trying to fault them. Everybody's kind of having to expand their toolkit, so to speak. And I think this was more natural for us. It's just very hard for us, since all of the users have Salute accounts, for us to orchestrate that communication, and to add people in as co-hosts, and all of that is a bit complicated by the identity management piece of that. We will support them to the extent that we can. Anyway, but I think that this is viable. I think, there are advantages and disadvantages of either way we go. Um, and
From the user participant view, it's not going to look much different, is it?
they're not going to get, how can I phrase it? They're not losing any functionality, because we were really locking down the webinar. They were pretty much just getting a stream, really.
So from a participant from the region's perspective, it's not going to be much different. Yeah,
from the region's perspective, as opposed to the Joe Public perspective.
Yeah, that to me, okay, that's what I was wondering about. From a participant's, as in, no, panelists. I'm
right.
sorry.
Yeah,
I should have said panelist.
Well, and it's participant in a meeting, panelist in a webinar, right?
Panelist. Okay, so yeah, it won't be much different for somebody who is a panelist in the webinar, except all the panelists could see the list of attendees, couldn't they?
They could, and they can't in this case.
Yeah.
All they'll be able to see is on the top left, they'll see that we're streaming to YouTube Live.
Okay.
That would be the indication to them that, that we're broadcasting.
Yeah. Now, when we do a stream to YouTube Live, can people, Joe Public, put in all those comments that happen on live YouTubes?
Well, this is why we probably wouldn't use YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Now we do have.
We could disable the chat.
Yeah, we disable comments
Okay.
in our channel, but I think we can't disable monetization. And that's, so we would want to.
Does that mean they throw in those advertisements?
Yes, at the end.
Huh.
They won't do an overlay, but they will put an ad once the video ends, and I don't want that. We just saw the perfect example of placement that we don't want to have. That's why I don't like YouTube or Facebook. I think I'd rather have a channel that we have a little more control over.
So will we be able to find one?
Oh yeah, we have a couple of different options that we've used in the past.
Oh, okay.
It was just for today's session. Since YouTube is one of the services that's available by default through Zoom, we just, is the quickest way to throw something up there.
Okay.
But we'll come up with a different strategy, and we'll just use the web page, and we'll just embed the video on the web page. So we'll have the link. We can do it in a couple of different ways. We can do, live.unm.edu, or we can do, if we want to embed it directly into the Regents page, or one of the Regents pages. We don't have the ability to edit those pages, meaning my team. And do you have the ability? Do you have access to Cascade? You don't.
I wish. I tried it when I first got in this job, but they have to do